Hello my friends, thank you so much for being here today. In this video it's going to be kind of a current favorite drugstore face routine. The complexion steps are really what's driving this. I feel like I've landed on a look that wears well and looks good on my skin. If I'm coming in at different angles, if I'm seeing myself in different lighting, it looks natural and it doesn't attract any attention to problem areas really. Like if you've got some hollow areas or some fine lines or whatever. I'm 38 years old, I got stuff going on my skin, and I think this is one of the most flattering product combos I can use for it. Very often you will hear people say they don't want to look too dry and cakey, but at the same time we don't want to look too juicy either, because having a super duper like moist and wet looking skin and incredibly highly illuminated skin can also draw attention to every crack and crevice on the face. Yeah, it can be glowy, but is it necessarily for the best? And so I'm kind of finding a middle ground, I feel like, where it doesn't look dry and cakey, and it also isn't so shiny that I feel like the light's just hitting every little part of me, you know? We've still got some blur. We got some blur happening, okay? Now I am keeping this all drugstore. If I could throw in a Bobbi Brown corrector stick, that would be great, but I still am really, really happy with the way this look ends up turning out and wearing. So I'm first gonna put on my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Lotion. TikTok loves this. So many people use this. This is my light glow option, but I also really like my deep glow too if I want more of a bronzy look on the skin. But I just get a small, like, little pearl-sized amount of this. I already got my sunscreen and all my skincare and all that jazz on. But this kind of gets the skin looking nice and I would say gently radiant, adds a little extra moisture, and it works really well with my next product, which I feel like over the course of the summer I had kind of come into this combo as well, but I'm just really realizing how good it is for my skin right now. The L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum, which I wear in 2-3 Light. This is becoming one of those products where it's like maybe I don't use it for a little while, but it always keeps coming back, and there are a couple of reasons why I love it. Number one, it has really good staying power. Number two, it's not as like juicy and sticky and stuff as you might expect something with the description hyaluronic tinted serum to be. And my dropper doesn't work amazingly well, but I just kind of swipe it on. But it actually ends up a little more matte than you might think, but not in a heavy way at all. And it just meshes with this primer so well. So I'll just swipe it on and then use my e.l.f. Duo complexion thing. This is one of my most valuable brushes, I swear. Like I use it so much. It's got the perfect sized end for like blending and buffing, and then a smaller end too, which helps so much with concealer. But as I get this blended in, like it's not full coverage, I'd call it a strong medium, but it's looking skin-like without looking too far one way or the other. Not too matte, not too dewy. Oh, biscuits. This one made a little escape last night during trick-or-treating. Yes, she did. And what else happened? She got shut in the closet. But look how gorgeous this is looking, you know? Do we have radiance? Yes, we do, but it's not too much, and it wears so well. I don't feel like this product sings it from the rooftops how long wearing it is, but it really wears nicely on me all day. And paired with that kind of glowy primer, that's just perfect. I love that. And then I think I could go with any number of concealers that I like. I could use my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, Hydrating or Regular. I could use Wet n Wild Incognito. I think I'm pulling for this one just because I saw someone recently in a video pairing this with that particular foundation and it looked good. And so this is yet another option, your Instant Age Rewind from Maybelline, which I have in Fair. Sometimes I'll just use the brightener shade. Sometimes I'll just use this shade. But it's really thin. That's one of the nice things about this concealer. It's super thin and light, but yet it does cover. So again, with not really attracting attention to all the little fine lines and nooks and crannies and whatever, it's just brightening and good without being like a magnifying glass on problems. But yeah, Halloween was super fun last night. We actually did our picture that we posted on Instagram. We were the Disney good guys as opposed to the villains that we were a year ago. We did that picture, we got all done up on Sunday afternoon because the girls had dance after school on Monday, so I knew we would be cutting it close for time, and like my parents live in a very popular like trick-or-treaty area, and I didn't know if they'd be able to get out to come and take our picture, so I just like, let's do it on Sunday. So we got our picture done, and then that way I really only had to like get the girls all done up for the trick-or-treating. I wish I would have taken more pictures of my Snow White makeup, but I think you guys have seen me in that look quite a few times. Just that classic red lip, a pretty light eye, but I did do a lash. Biddy's makeup was fun because she was completely blonde. Got her being Princess Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, so it was really fun. I even lightened up her eyebrows a little bit. You may not be able to tell in the pictures, but I tried. And Belle was Alice in Wonderland, which she really enjoyed that. Bubba was only the prince for the picture because he just hated that jacket. He really doesn't like to be put in costume, so we let him be Yachty. St. Louis Cardinals, Yachty Ermelina. He had his Yachty shirt, which was covered with a jacket, so he probably just looked like a little kid running house to house. 3 years old, y'all. You just gotta take what you can get. I love how I discuss everyone's, and the last thing I mentioned is Bub's blonde wig, which was the same thing we used for that trunk or treat where he was the crazy ref. That was the original purpose for that wig, was that he was gonna be the prince. Because he was Gaston last year. So it all came together well, I thought. So this is the look I've got right now, and I'm loving the way the skin's looking. I'm gonna set this a little bit for staying power purposes, but these products come together so, so nicely. The foundation, the primer, the concealer, it's all working for me. Then I'm gonna take my Rimmel Stay Matte powder, and do you guys remember when I said I kind of upgraded my shade here? I used to use Sandstorm all the time, which is nice. It's not a problem if that is what you own. It's still brightening on the under eye, but Creamy Natural is ever so slightly lighter than that. So I thought I'd use that on my under eye with my little e.l.f. sponge. Just pick up a little bit of that powder and kind of brighten and set, okay? So just dabbing it here on my under eye. I'm going to dab it on the T-zone as well. And it's just a nice little powder. It's a great one to have. It applies great with a brush too. This is one where, you know, the brush doesn't pick up too much. I don't think the puff really does either. It's just a very firm powder, and it really operates like a pressed powder, not like a powder foundation. So it never ends up too heavy on the skin. By the way, I ordered some more of these triangle sponges on Amazon, so I have something to use when I'm washing this one. You don't need to go crazy overboard with setting on this look because that L'Oreal Nude Hyaluronic Tinted stuff is not like super duper tacky at all. In fact, what I lightly do, I think this is the drugstore version of an Hourglass powder, frankly. It's the NYX No Filter finishing powder, which I wear in porcelain. And this is just nice. I've talked about this many times before. It looks kind of baked. It has the gentlest ever, teeniest luminosity, and this is just pretty all over the surface of the skin. It kind of keeps you looking fresh and not powdery, but does what you want the powder to do in terms of setting stuff, okay? So I just dust that around. Any glow that it gives is so light and gentle, but it reminds me of an Hourglass powder. That's one of NYX's best things, and I don't always see it everywhere. If we're talking low-cost favorites, by the way, who shops for jewelry at Old Navy? They have the cutest earrings, and I got like some of these chunky little like gold hoops, you know, that everybody loves. I got a little set of those, and they are the lightest things ever. So lightweight. I hate the thought of a heavy earring dragging me down here. That's why I often wear studs. But these perfect little gold, small but chunky hoops, lightweight. They came in a duo with some tortoiseshell ones. I love them. Now, you guys probably think I never wear jewelry at all because I come up here and I'm just like getting ready, but I just haven't put it on yet. Like this is the start of the day, and I come up here, I'm not like putting on a show for you. I'm legitimately getting ready for my day, and I just don't put on jewelry yet because I really don't like the thought of rubbing over it with makeup brushes. So you kind of never see me all finished out like that, but I do wear earrings pretty much every day. The occasional necklace or bracelet, but pretty much every day I wear earrings. And Old Navy has really, really good ones. I've gotten some cute stuff from there. And these last ones I just ordered online. They're so good. Moving on. Love this contour. This one from Milani. It's the liquid contour from from the Conceal and Perfect line in the shade Ginger. I do not love the packaging, but I do love the formula, the way it blends, everything about it. Like, it's just your easiest, most effortless thing to use like this. You might say, well, just grab an Instant Age Rewind from Maybelline. Those are good, but they take more effort to blend. This is literally like a no effort move here. Look, you just get your brush in the general vicinity and it's blended and it looks good and it makes sense. So easy. Like, it just tops the list of easy contours that are in that format. Okay, it's light. It just meshes in with your skin look without making it sticky or uneven feeling. So good. Chisel it out. Nobody needs to know how many Swedish Fish or Sour Patch Kids were consumed last night. It probably leaves me doing a little less on the skin, because if I were using bronzer, I'd keep going back and back and back, and here it's just like blend your swipe and go. Having a really, really rediscovered moment with an amazing blush. The blush you need. Please get this. Please have this in your collection for the remainder of fall and winter. Get Wine from the Maybelline Fit Me line. Snow White's blush. I've always said it. Yes, I definitely wore this when I was getting ready for my picture the other day. It has a satin finish and it is so perfectly rosy, so perfectly in from the cold. Like, it is essential. It is perfection in a compact. I'm not being dramatic. I know where my blush brush is and I need it for the step. I took it downstairs because I put on blush and lipstick on them before they went trick-or-treating last night. I gotta grab that. It's important. I'm back. In case anybody was wondering, this is what they wore for their blush. These pinky colored blushes, that's basically what I used from that palette. They wore a little bit of mascara, so they're superhero. I brushed some kind of brow gel, tinted gel through their brows if I do any kind of like look on them. And keep in mind, guys, they're not like going to school wearing makeup. They're not wearing makeup every day. I'm talking about in a dress up circumstance, or like Belle's pageant, she wore makeup for that. But you know, it's Halloween season. They've been in some costumes. If I put any kind of lip color on them, I use one of the Superstay matte ink crayons. This was what Belle wore. This was what Biddy wore. These are the easiest to apply on kids. Their little format is just the easiest to have control. Much easier than a liquid lipstick, easier than a full-size bullet as well. And then they will last and not move. So love those if you have to put any kind of lipstick on a child. And I love how I got 8,000 brushes over there, but this was the one I needed. Gosh, if that's not a testimonial for the e.l.f. blush brush, I don't know what is. We're going to this. We're going to pick some of this up, a little bit on the brush. And we're gonna get the absolute most perfect rosy flush ever. I went a little heavy here. I really wanted you to see the color, okay? It's the perfect rosy flush. I've got so much on. I didn't need to apply quite that much to make my point. I went much harder than I needed to, but maybe this will just mean I don't have to come back and apply blush again at the end of the look. But trust me, it's the rosy flush you wanna have in the winter time. I'm hitting it with just a little bit of Rimmel Stay Matte powder, but see, I love the color. And it's oddly unique because I don't have much of that exact color in my collection. We're gonna hit that with some Lumi Glow Nude. What I love about my Lumi Glow Nude palette in Moonkissed, which I've raved about this year so much, it's brightening without looking really super frosty. Okay, we've talked about not wanting to attract the wrong kind of attention to certain areas. Not bringing like a texture spotlight on problem areas, and this brightens with no trace of any kind of chunky texture at all. Thin as can be, light as can be. If you try to swatch this, you're gonna think maybe it's a dud dry product, but on the skin it's just perfection. I love that second shade there because you can look brightened and you can look like you got some glow going on, but nothing unflattering is happening to the skin as a result. So we love that. And we can use a little up here. Moonkissed. Make sure you get the one that says Moonkissed. Find it at Walmart. It's stunning. My skin still looks velvety and smooth and even, but I do look like I have a little glow on the surface, okay? And then get you some Wet n Wild Photo Focus Natural Finish. If you've never tried one of the mists that is packaged this way, you're gonna be so impressed by the huge fan of dispersed mist that you get. So I just do a couple mists of this. So good, that's all you need. Look at the skin. We've got that gorgeous flush. We've got evenness on the skin. We're looking like we've got some radiance, but yet we're not sticky. And we're taking control of how the light is hitting us, not just being like, hey, my skin's sticky and tacky and dewy and the light's just touching everything, okay? We're taking control of that. Next, I'm gonna do brows, and I've got a lot of different brow things I like, but lately I've been using e.l.f. Ultra Precise quite a bit in neutral brown, so I'm just gonna keep going with that. Just a nice skinny brow pencil. There are so many good options at the drugstore, as we always say. If you like a brow wiz, there's a lot available for less. Go right through it. So we've moved on to a new show. I bet a lot of y'all are watching it as well. I mean, I'm still watching Handmaids, of course, but we can only watch one episode at a time of that once a week. For the rest of the days, we're watching, is it called The Watcher? Watching that. It's kind of creepy. A little bit scary. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I don't want to mess it up for anybody who's not as far into it as I am, which I'm not very far, but so far so good. I'm enjoying it. Okay, and then I'm pulling in just a little bit of my Brow Fast Sculpt. I haven't used this in a while because I thought like I was about out of this tube of medium brown here. The most perfect brow gel ever because it has long spiky bristles and short ones. The long ones don't apply too much and the short ones apply more product if that's what you want. But I didn't think there was enough in here to use, and then I randomly used it the other day. I'm like, oh, there's still some. It's like this product very clearly has my stamp of approval on it. I don't need to like experiment with it a whole bunch. I have other things that I probably need to experiment with more. So I try not to just immediately jump into my backup tube of this, but it's so good. It's good to go back to it, like hop back over at times and realize that this is indeed the supreme tinted brow gel of life. Brows are looking a little serious today. Best eyeshadow primer ever, Milani eyeshadow primer. And I'm gonna do kind of like soft everyday eyes with a little palette that I think is a classic. One day I counted how many different versions Wet n Wild has done of Walking on Eggshells, and I think there were like 4 or 5. And we're gonna use this latest one. This is such a good like everyday little eyeshadow 5-pack here. See what we're working with? Just like classic Walking on Eggshells, we've got like a deep bronzy brown shimmer, the pinky one, this light shimmer, but they've given us the addition of 2 mattes, 2 very important mattes, I think, in this Color Icon Walking on Eggshells palette. I love this mug. I think of Erica every time I drink out of it because she gave it to me. And it's such a good size, like holds a substantial amount of coffee. So I'm gonna start, and yes, this one has a little crack in it. I'm gonna start with your standard starting place. This little crease color here. I just wanted this to be a look where people could follow it and think, okay, that's a look for any time. I didn't want to do a really like super specific eye look where viewers felt pigeonholed into like, oh, well, I don't want to do a dark green eyeshadow look, so I'm not going to follow this. But just everyday good basics. That's what we're working with today. A look that just looks good complexion wise, and the eye products are good too. I also love the Tin Pan palette. Gosh, why am I blanking on the name of it? Nude Awakening. You need Nude Awakening, okay? That's everything you need. 5-pan, little basic, Walking on Eggshells. All right, so you're just getting that like little light mid-tone blended out all over. And then maybe we pull in a little bit of depth and we say we're gonna use the one with the little shimmer. Yes, a little bit of that deeper bronzy shimmer can be pretty in your crease also, and nice and soft looking. Profusion crease brush is what I'm using, which these all have a little bit different names. Just trust my links. Trust my links below because I call them the way I use them. Down in my description box, like I'll just always call this Profusion crease brush. They call it Profusion firm blending eyeshadow, okay? Whatever, but to me it's the crease brush, and I'll link to this exact brush. And then there's one that I use bare sometimes just to blend things out. I call that the blending brush. They call that pointed crease eyeshadow. Profusion, can we just make an agreement on what these things need to be called? This is crease, the other one's blending. We don't need to identify whether it's firm or pointed or whatever. See that? Whoa, yeah. Okay, loving, living. Now we go into our matte brown here with a flat brush. I've got a mega gripe that I've been sitting on for a while, and today's the day it's coming out. Brush sets. So many brush sets, and I'm mainly talking about like the handy kind of brush sets, not the brush sets that maybe you got once upon a time from Coastal Scents and they contained approximately 57 different brushes. No, I'm talking about like major brand puts out a brush set, like It Cosmetics or Sephora brand, Real Techniques, Moda, all these different brands. What is their problem with putting in an eyeshadow brush among their eyeshadow brush offerings in their brush set? What's wrong with them putting in something that's truly flat? Because that's what people actually need. We don't need something that's this but fluffier. We need this. We need something flat in those brush sets. They're great about putting in a blending brush. Love to put in a couple different blending brushes in a small, let's say 7-piece brush set. They give you 2 blenders. Flat? No. That's not something we can do. Why? It's precisely what's necessary. I mean, day doesn't go by I don't use a flat brush on my eyes. Look at the control I'm having right now. For patting and pressing stuff on, eyeshadow formulas are screaming for a flat brush to apply them. I mean, we're dealing with these shimmer textures that can be so off the wall. If you're not giving that stuff a chance with a flat brush that can control it and pack it and press it the way similar to the way a finger does, we need a flat brush. Small pointed brush is actually called small pointed brush, by the way. But like, why? Why can't we have it? Profusion came close. They put out a flat brush, but it's like half the size of this. It's like, okay, you're close, but make a bigger one. I just don't understand it, y'all. Do they think the consumer won't know what to do? Did they think it will decrease the sales of the thing? If there are a couple things I could be at the table for, so to speak, makeup-wise, in the industry, I want to talk about what they're putting in brush sets, what tons of brands are putting, or let's say not putting, in brush sets, and I want to talk about that It Cosmetics beauty book. Instead, I'll just talk here. One day, the right person is going to stumble across one of my rants, and it's all going to come together. Till then, I'm just going to live my life using my random Morphe flat brush that should be the kind of thing every brand seeks to put in every brush set. So what I've done here is I've just been working with this dark shade, and I patted it on the outer part of my lid, and then I just gently went into it with small pointed and kind of see how I work that up. Oh, how everyday can we get, you know, but it's great. And then you might say, well, I'm going back to my crease brush for a little bit of lightness and fade that up even more now that I see where the land lays with the dark shade. So I've taken a little bit of the bronzy color, and I'm just saying, okay, nice and easy. Nice and easy. Let it go. Let it roll right up here. Love that. Oh, I'd wear this for wedding makeup. I'd wear this if I had another prom to go to, you know? Perfect. Then we find our other little flat brush. Technically, we need 2 sizes of flat brushes in kits. Morphe M709, aka Pointed Packer. And I always link every brush I use in the order I use it down below. But we're going to take a little bit of Little Miss Gentle pinky shade there. And I just like to switch brushes when I get to this place because oftentimes I'm using a lighter shade, and I've just had my darkest shade on my larger flat brush. And this size is just a little more manageable for reaching that inner corner. Look how beautiful and pearly and pigmented. She's so pretty. She's so everyday friendly. And if you wanted to not really have a brightness here in this area, you could just go in with like Little Mr. Khaki Pants and just put that right over here. I'd like to also be put in charge of shade naming. And then over here, this shade's kind of pearly too. We haven't touched this guy at the end, but nice and light and brightening for inner corner. Nice for a little under the brow lift. Like just a perfect little eyeshadow 5-pan palette for your everyday life. I'm gonna do my upper liner first, and then we're gonna talk about an amazing lower liner thing that I've been loving for a while now. Essence Lash Princess, the black waterproof kind. I've used this so much, I'm kind of surprised I'm still using it. Like, I'm surprised there's any left. Got your little tip here. Works great, wears a long time, easy to put on. Complexion's still looking great. Blush is still there, still looking good. We're just gonna go across the upper lash line here. And then we're gonna wing it up a little bit at the end, because as I realized in a recent video, I kind of miss wings a little bit. A small wing, doesn't have to be a big wing. Have a great day, not just a good day. I feel like I need to do a video titled Things You Need to Have If You Really Love Drugstore Makeup. Things you should own to have the full experience of what drugstore has to offer. That's kind of what this face is. I bought a bunch of those little pre-made salads. I hope I eat them. You know, like the salads where you tear off the top, they tell you exactly how many calories are in there. And it's got all the fixins. The reason why I got those is because I forgot to order Farmer's Fridge. I love Farmer's Fridge. That's the best. That's where you want to get your salads from. Best quality, quantity, just yumminess. But I forgot. I had to get some salads from Wally World, which is fine. So I've got my gentle wing. And then the absolute best everyday lower lash line. You want to get NYX Epic Smoke in the shade Nude Haze. All right, you're gonna have a brush, a legitimate brush on one end. You can use that to help smudge it, but it's gonna come off of this stick looking already smudged because it's thick. It's like shaped like a diamond, okay? Like a gemstone. And it's soft, and it's like the perfect shade to just give you a little definition down there, but not too dark. And then it lasts, which is, you know, a key point here. Lasts a little bit better than putting powder eyeshadow down here, but it ends up looking like powder eyeshadow, okay? Soft and approachable like that was powder, but I'm just swiping it on straight from this stick. Nude Haze is the shade you want. I've looked into other shades. I really don't think I need anything but this. And it will work with like any eye look you do. If you just want a little murky lower lash that's not too out of control smoky, but it's just giving that softly defined eye. All about it. All about it. Nude Haze. And then sure, absolutely. I mean, I rarely reach for this little brush, but it's there. And you can go over and you can blend it out. I think it's just kind of a gimmicky thing to get people to buy this, but it's all about the size, shape, and color of that stick. Now we're going to use our Unlimited mascara here from L'Oreal. Curl the lashes, and this is the mascara with the little wand that goes yoink. It's just easy. Easier to put on that way. And it builds up well. And I think I'm going to do a false lash today because I'm just feeling that way. Some days you just know. Apparently Biddy got to have a glow party in her kindergarten classroom the other day, and they're having it again today. When did it get that fun? That's awesome. Okay, so you can use that little joint in your mascara wand to bend it and make it just apply with ease. I've just got my elbow on the table and I'm just applying my mascara like a boss. In it to win it, yes. See, this is a really good mascara. I feel like, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like it holds curl leaps and bounds better than Voluminous does. I've wanted to love regular old Voluminous, but it's a curl dropper. It is. Now, Voluminous Lash Paradise, not so much a curl dropper. Shiseido Lash Curler. Get you a gold one while you can. It's holiday time. Love that. Not drugstore, but the kind of high-end product that you'll use every single day. And it doesn't wear down, doesn't wear out, doesn't get used up. Great piece. See this mascara? This is good for me. Good for me. I'm popping on a quick lash. It's going to be like a wispies type of lash, and I'll be right back. lashes are on. These are not wispies. This is the Kiss My Lash But Better in the style So Real, which is actually my favorite lash style of all time. And then I put on, I did use some Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water on the lower lash line, which is a legitimate high-end investment you should be making if you don't like smudges anywhere. I don't like any smudging. And so now we're ready for the lip. I'm choosing to do a very everyday friendly lip, just kind of like we did with the eye. I want this to be a real look you can count on and think about it for everyday use. So I'm going to work in 2 Superstay matte ink crayons and a gloss. So the first one that I'm going to put on is called On the Grind, and this is a really pretty, like, kind of mauve-y nude. They have such a great shade range in these. I gotta say, they've turned out great bright shades, an abundance of kind of nudie shades like this. Look at this. This is great as is. This is perfect, just doing its thing like that. But then I take my mostest favorite, most used one, which is called Live on the Edge. A little deeper. This is also your perfect, like, if you got a maroon sports team that you are a fan of, work in this shade. I just work it in from the outsides, okay? Little depth. It's like you're shaping and contouring your lip a little bit. Out here and out here. Okay? Love that. If staying power is of utmost importance to you, you don't want to touch this up, leave this alone right now, okay? But if you want a little gloss, which I'm going to do some gloss today, Lifter Gloss in the shade Moon. It has kind of a shimmer to it. It's so pretty. I think it's my favorite one of these. Look at this. Don't get too much on. This can easily be over applied and feel kind of goopy. Try to not go back for more. One application is fine. That's so pretty. That adds a little bit of sheen, a little bit of life in there. And now it's like the brow makes sense and the cheek makes sense and everything's working together. The skin, that was a big part of this, was just sharing that skin combo and how much I enjoy that and how well this will wear on me all day. My skin feels perfectly even, kind of velvety, but yet doesn't look too dry. You know, wear the lash or don't wear the lash. Obviously the lash glams it up quite a bit, but I love the eyeshadow look that's pairing with that. Love the lip color, that rosy blush, like it's just everything is working. I love this drugstore bag, okay? Make over your makeup bag with these drugstore products. I'll take that off so you can kind of see. Get a look at the look without the headband. Some people say that's good. What did the headband add to the look? Well, some days I just feel really like in control. When the headband's on, it's like nothing's messing with my look. No little stray hairs are getting in. The headband is basically when you're a recovering control freak in your everyday life, when you start doing your makeup, you need to do things like using a headband to keep it all back and using a brow gel called Control Freak. That's how you keep a handle on things. Do things like that. We're done with this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this look. I think this is one of my favorite drugstore looks ever. And let me know if you choose to try any part of this out on yourself. And I will see you guys again very soon. I love you. Bye.